Welcome to Everything Co-op, bringing you information on how cooperatives can help improve your quality of life. This show is being sponsored by the National Co-op Bank, NCB. The NCB is dedicated to strengthening communities nationwide for the delivery of banking and financial services for the nation's cooperatives, their members, and other socially responsible organizations. For more information on the power of community ownership, visit ncb.coop. That's ncb.coop. Now stay tuned for your host, Vernon Oakes.
Welcome, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes. Welcome to Everything Co-op. We talk about co-ops, and we talk about every aspect of co-ops. And today, I'm at Greenbelt. I'm in Greenbelt, Maryland, and we have quite a few people around the table that's going to be talking to you today about the New Deal Cafe, about the food co-op and the pharmacy, the credit union, and we've got the news review. And Greenbelt Homes is 1,600 units since the 30s and the 40s. They've been around a long time. Okay, so we're going to start off talking to Leela Mack this morning, who is the coordinator of the Greenbelt Cooperative Alliance. And she was on the program 6 years ago, the first month we got started.
Yes.
6 years ago, October.
That was a lot of fun. And this here, that you can do it remotely on location, very exciting. So, yes, I've moved to Greenbelt 45 years ago because...
You were 1 year old.
Well, no, unfortunately, I had a 1-year-old son, so really, I wasn't one. But the interesting thing, we were looking for a house that we could afford, and we saw ads in the Washington Post, and we found a co-op here in Greenbelt, and we also saw a single-family house nearby, and I looked at that single-family house, and then I looked at the GHI house, the co-op in Greenbelt, and I said, in that single-family house, there is no place I would walk to. There is nothing I would do there. So we moved to GHI, and it's been a wonderful life here. For many years, I served as the information specialist at GHI, and very exciting things that I got to do there. One of the things I got to do was to actually look through all of the original drawings of the town and to organize them and collate them and get them all ready to send off to the University of Maryland. And that was an interesting project. So, I've been involved with many of the co-ops here in Greenbelt, and I often tell people that if the citizens of Greenbelt looked around and said, we need this, we need that, they'll all look around and they'll say, well, what we need is a co-op to do that.
That's right. If you want to solve any problem, that's what you start a co-op to solve any community problem.
Well, absolutely, because cooperatives are member-owned, democratically controlled local businesses, and people get together and do it.
All right. So I want to talk to Amethyst a minute. She's the music coordinator of the New Deal Cafe.
Good morning.
Good morning. And what does the music coordinator do?
Well, I schedule all the bands that perform here at the New Deal Cafe. We have live music 6 nights a week, and it's a great place to experience live music. Actually, recently in the city paper, we were selected as one of the best places to experience live music in the D.C. area. And it's wonderful because we are a cooperative. We make music very accessible to the community. We never charge a cover. Instead, we have tip canisters on all the tables, and we ask our patrons to be as generous as possible, and all of that goes to the bands. And we have a great selection of music. It varies anywhere from folk to rock to Celtic, which we'll be having tonight in celebration of Celtic Samhain, also known as Halloween.
Okay, thank you.
We have blues. We have world music of all kinds. We have jazz. It's a great place so come check us out.
And New Deal's a co-op.
Yes, we are a cooperative. This will be our 24th year. We have a board of directors. We have food contractors. DC Vegan is our food contractor with Michael and Leah Moon. And we have lots of volunteers that help keep this place running. In fact, we couldn't do it without our volunteers. So,
all right. So you can come in. I've even come out here and danced.
Oh, please dance.
Yeah.
We love dancing.
Okay. And you can come to 113 Centerway in Greenbelt to the New Deal Cafe.
Correct.
And what time does the music start?
The music starts during the week. It usually starts rolling around 7:30, and on Fridays and Saturdays it's 8:30, and on Sundays it's 7. So it's kind of an earlier night. So it's come on out, have dinner, have a few drinks, enjoy live music. We have a smaller, more intimate back room, so you are right there with the band.
Okay. Good news. So, Leela, you've been here for 45 years, and now you are the coordinator of the Greenbelt Cooperative Alliance. How many co-ops are in Greenbelt? Because I just drove down. I came up, for everybody that don't know where Greenbelt is, I came up the Baltimore-Washington Expressway, or 295, and it's right where 495 and 295 intersect. And when you come down the road here, I saw a sign saying Co-op Month.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big banner.
Yeah, because we have...
Okay.
We have 7 co-ops currently, and we're always looking to potentially form more. So we talked about the New Deal Cafe. We have the nursery school co-op. We have the housing co-op. We have the credit union. We may have another credit union at the other edge of town, too. And, we have the consumer food co-op. And then we have the newest co-op is the Makerspace Repair co-op.
Makerspace Repair?
Yeah.
In Greenbelt Homes.
In Greenbelt Homes, yeah. And the News Review, because the News Review, our community, we like to say it's a worker co-op, but they don't get much pay. but we couldn't really keep on touch of all the things happening in Greenbelt without the News Review.
Okay. So, let's see, where are we going to go now? Let's talk about the homes, the 1,600 homes at Greenbelt. Steve, you've been on the program, just like Lita Mack has been on. But just give us a little history of Greenbelt Homes.
So, hi, I'm Steve Skolnick, and Greenbelt Homes was a community built as a new town in the 1930s. It was a New Deal program of the Franklin Roosevelt administration that wasn't built as a cooperative. It became a cooperative in 1952 when the federal government decided that they needed to divest ownership in the town, and the extremely far-sighted and brave residents of the town got together, got themselves a mortgage, and formed the cooperative at that time. And Greenbelt Homes has been successfully providing affordable housing since 1952, and we are happy to say that we're extremely healthy financially, and we're in year 4 right now of a 5-year, $25 million renovation program.
$25 million?
I did say that, and
We didn't pay that.
And here's the best part: we're doing the entire thing with our own funds, no bank loans, no mortgages.
Woohoo!
And that is something that we're very proud of, and we'll be at the end of that 5-year program, we'll be continuing on saving money for the next $25 million renovation 30 some odd years from now. So we work very hard to keep our housing affordable, and we are very happy to have 1,600 homes, and that's what we do for a living.
Fantastic. And you're the president of?
President of the board of directors.
President of the board. And how many board members do you have?
It's a 9-member board, and then we have...
So these are members that live there.
Yes.
They elect the board, and the board sets the policies and processes.
Yes, that's exactly right. We do self-governance here. And
self-governance and self-management.
Well, yes. We hire a general manager, so we do have a professional staff, and we have electricians and plumbers and carpenters to take care of the homes in-house. So we do contracting, of course, for things like tree maintenance and such, road maintenance, but we do take care of the buildings ourselves with our own staff. We have a wonderful general manager who also was on your program by the name of Eldon Ralph.
Yep.
Yes.
So 1930, 40, and 50, this was out in the boondocks. You were out in the sticks.
Yes, that's
it's
exactly
close
right.
now.
When it was
495 was not here.
Yeah, that's right. When it was originally built, of course, it really was in the sticks, and there was a kind of a shuttle arrangement that people took to the trolley car in Berwyn Heights, which is about 1.5 miles from here, and that's how folks got downtown to go to work every day. And most people didn't have a car at that point in time. It was a depression after all.
Okay.
An interesting story about being out in the boondocks. And
Okay,
nothing
Leela,
around.
because there's so many people, when you talk, for the people out there and me, say your name.
Okay, this is Lita. I always think this is a very interesting story. When the town was being built, the federal government knew that it was in the middle of nowhere and they would need to have stores and other kinds of services for the residents who moved here. So they talked to regular business people, would you set up a store? Well, you know what happens when a capitalist is asked to set up a store. He thought, how much profit am I going to get? In the end, they thought, no, we're not going to get anything, so we don't want to do that. So then the federal government looked at cooperatives and talked to Edward Filey, who you may know as the person who had the bargain basements. Always made a lot of money on those, but he didn't want to spend his money on things like yachts or so forth. He liked to spend his money and put it into a foundation to set up credit unions and co-ops. And he said, I'll give you the money to set up co-op stores here in Greenbelt, with the understanding that within 2 years the residents would buy shares and own it themselves. And that's what happened.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's how we got Greenbelt Supermarket and Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm. Originally, the original one.
Yes.
Okay, so Jill.
I'm Jill, yes.
Jill Stevenson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right before we take break, tell us a little bit about Greenbelt Supermarket and Pharmacy.
Well, this particular food co-op has been here for 35 years. But as Lita said, there's been a food co-op here, since the beginning. Since the beginning. And we're also a pharmacy. We are community owned. And we have 7,000, well, actually we have 8,000 members, and we have everything from beer and wine to natural foods, organic food. We have a bakery, we have meat, produce, we have a fabulous salad bar. Everything that you could possibly get at any other grocery store, we have it here at the co-op.
Fantastic. Okay, and we also have Dory Bates from the food co-op.
Right. I'm a member who's very involved with the co-op, and that's one of the great things about all of our co-ops is how active our members are and how supportive they are. All of us, I think, can speak to the engagement of our community, which is a cooperative community. Food co-op is great.
Excuse me a minute, Dory. I'm sorry. I saw somebody walking around with looked like carrot cake, and I thought he was going to bring it to me, but he sat down and put it in front of him. The food out here looks great at the New Deal Cafe, everybody. So you may want to come out. This carrot cake, okay, I could mess up my diet with that one.
It's a vegetable.
It's a vegetable. Dory, we're going to take our first break, and then we'll come back and talk to you. If you really want the carrot cake, you want to come out to 113 Center Way in Greenbelt, Maryland, to the New Deal Cafe, and right across the way is the grocery store and the pharmacy, and then there is also a theater. But we'll be right back, everybody. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes, and we're back in Greenbelt. We're in the New Deal Cafe at 113 Center Way in Greenbelt, Maryland. The food looks great. They have music, which we've talked about every night of the week. It's early, and we were talking to Dory and Jill about the food co-op. And so, Dory, I was going to ask you, you said that you volunteer.
Yes.
How much does it cost to become a member of the food co-op?
First off, let me say anybody can shop at the food co-op. So we're open to anybody who comes down to Roosevelt Center, which is the hub of our old community. To join the food co-op is $10.
$10?
$10. That's such a deal.
$10.
Lifetime. 10 smackaroonies. If you wish to be a voting member, that's $100. Okay. And one of the advantages of membership, in addition to participating in the workings of the store and the cooperative, when we have a profit, we share it with the members. And that is voted on by the board of directors and is something that is unique about co-ops. Absolutely. So I've been with this co-op. My husband has been with this co-op since its beginning in leadership and in participation. It's a wonderful thing.
So, Jill, what's your role? Are you a volunteer? Are you on the board? Or?
Well, I'm a member, and I volunteered on the board for a number of years, and now I actually work there as the membership, marketing, and community outreach, such as this.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so, how long have you been a member too?
20 years, and I live in GHI for 20 years. My financial institution is the local credit union, and I read the news review, and I give my entertainment here at the New Deal Cafe.
You never need to leave Greenbelt.
I don't. I really seriously don't. Lita knows my car. I've had my car since 2001 and has 52,000 miles on it, So it's like everything I need is right here.
Mine is 2017 with almost that many miles. Okay. So, anything else that you want to tell us about
the co-op is such a center for our community, and not only is it a place to get refreshment for the body, it's a place to get refreshment for other spirits. We have a wonderful wine and beer selection and what's called the co-op happy hour, which is our tastings on Friday afternoons. But it's also a place, and always has been a place, for the community to gather. If you want to know what's going on in Greenbelt, you come shop at the co-op, and you'll run into friends and neighbors that you know and that you don't know. And it's just a marvelous hub for our community, and we hope will continue to be so forever.
You can't go in the co-op without someone approaching you. And I serve on the city council, and sometimes it's like, oh, please.
Leave me alone. Okay.
I don't want to hear this again. But most of the time it's good.
And the good thing is that we're so conveniently located. I mean, we're in Roosevelt Center, and it is right off of Crescent Road, which is the road that connects Kenilworth Avenue to Greenbelt Road. So it's, it's easy to get to us. You just need to know where to look. And we're on Crescent Road between Kenilworth Avenue and Greenbelt.
Okay, so you do your banking at the credit union.
Yes.
And we have Mr. David Muse, who's the CEO of Greenbelt Federal Credit Union. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Vernon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. And how long have you been with the credit union?
A little over 2 weeks now.
That long.
That long.
45 years over here in the corner.
All right.
2 weeks?
2 weeks in, October 15th.
All right.
Start date.
So you start in co-op month.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the credit union is right
Next door to New
right
Deal.
next to the New Deal.
My neighbors.
So you're next to the New Deal, and the food co-op is to the left over here, right across the little walkway, the patio here.
Exactly.
Okay. How many members do you all have?
A little over 2,800 members.
Oh, you know that in 2 weeks. Okay.
Yes, sir.
He's met all of them.
I knew that before I started.
How was that? What was your relationship before you started?
With Greenbelt?
Yeah.
Well, many years ago, I lived in Greenbelt. I was born in Washington, D.C., raised in Greenbelt. My most early childhood memories are of Greenbelt. I lived in what was called Spring Hill Lake at the time, and now Franklin Park apartments. My family moved to more southern Prince George's County about when I was seven or eight, and so now I'm back.
All right. Back home. Okay.
Back home.
So you have 2,800 members. And assets?
A little over 32 million assets.
Okay. So you didn't loan them at $25 million if they needed it. Greenbelt Homes.
We didn't need it. Our members paid it in.
Okay, so just Steve. So your members pay in every month the cost of running the business, cost of running the housing, and they have some savings added on to that for future needs.
That's exactly right. And we call it a replacement reserves program, and it's very robust. And it's a big deal. We have a huge database of the homes and the components and the trucks and the parking lots and whatnot that need servicing and replacement over time, and we have actually hired a contractor to figure out what those costs might be, and then the board of directors decides how much every year, based on that recommendation, we need to save, and we put that into the monthly member charges, and it's worked out really well.
I don't know about the rest of you, but my parents did not save money to replace the roof.
Exactly.
There you go.
Maybe you all
Exactly.
did, but that was not a part of it. And I think that's one of the great things about co-ops.
There you go.
You learn how to put money aside for when. I even remember when somebody broke a window out in my mom's home, and it was a big deal because she didn't have the money to put the window in.
That's right.
And you've got to have that money saved up. Now, the seventh principle is cooperation among co-ops. So do you do any banking of Greenbelt homes with the credit union?
Well, as a matter of fact, the credit union is one of our lenders for people who want to become a member and live in a Greenbelt home. Then they can get a share loan, which is like a mortgage, from the credit union in order to do so. So yes, we do. And by the way, I have been a member of the Greenbelt Federal Credit Union, I think since before you were born.
I hear that a lot.
Okay, Fred. Okay.
Which I'm fine with. I love hearing that. I love hearing that.
So, being back home, David, and Steve had just said that he's been a member of the credit union longer than you've been alive.
Right.
How does it feel in sort of a community base? How does that feel here?
It's very embracing. I've been welcomed with open arms from day one. It's refreshing, and you definitely know you're part of a co-op community the moment you come into old Greenbelt, as we call it. But as Steve mentioned, a large part of our mortgage technically portfolio are GH homes. So we're very proud of that and love doing business with them.
So prior to working at the Federal Credit Union, you were with the Department of Labor Federal Credit Union, and before that you were with SunTrust Bank. I got your bio.
Yeah.
Okay. So how is it the difference between working for a SunTrust Bank and working for a credit union? How does that differ?
I always explain that it's like a breath of fresh air. I wish I would have started with credit unions many, many years ago in my career.
You would never have appreciated the fresh air in this.
That may be true.
Okay.
Yeah, that may be true.
Okay.
Now, I learned a lot working in the banks, and so I appreciate, that part of my career and what I've learned, and it helped me, transition to the credit unions and coming over to the credit union from banks. But it is a breath of fresh air. One of the bigger differences that you immediately notice and recognize, I could always call on any peer or another credit union. I see you guys are doing great in credit cards or small unsecured loans. What are you doing? How are you doing that? And they'll give me the rundown of, whether it's marketing, promotion, their product, what vendor they're using. I'll get any information I need to help my credit union be successful. Now, being at the banks, even within my own same company, I could call another branch 2 blocks over and say, hey, we're part of the same region. Good job on the credit card sales last month. What are you doing? Oh, we caught a couple of good breaks, and so it's really tight-lipped when you're with the bank. But it's all about sharing information and helping each other when you're dealing with credit unions and co-ops, and so that's the refreshing part of it.
Well, there's a lot of refreshing things I found at co-ops, and I'm like you. I did not learn about co-ops until 25 years ago when I started managing housing co-ops. So that's where I learned about them, and I fell in love with leaders already talked about is open, voluntary, and open membership. So that's the first principle: open to everybody, democratic control. Steve said you get elected to the board. That's one member, one vote. Doesn't make any difference how much money you have. One member, one vote. Member economic participation. I think Donna talked about that with
Dory.
Dory talked about that it costs $100 to get in, and then if there's a surplus or a profit, you get to share that. Autonomy and independence is critical, and now you're talking about, David, number 5, education, training, and information. Having taught 12 years, I love it that people just share. Absolutely. Whatever it is. It's not this competitive, it's mine, you can't have it, okay? And therefore, you get a lot of innovation in co-ops. It's phenomenal, and we've already talked about number 6 is cooperation among co-ops, whether it's a credit union and homes, of working together because it's all for the membership, not for profit.
Exactly.
You got to make money in order to stay alive and fix those roofs and stuff, but that's not the main reason we're existing. And then there's concern for community, and all of you guys are concerned about Greenbelt and Washington, the DMV, the whole area.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
All right. We are going to take our second break here in a minute. And I just want to tell everybody, if you want some good food, come out to 113 Center Way, Greenbelt, and you can catch them on the web at www.newdealcafe.com. We'll be right back. Please don't touch that dial. Welcome back, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes, and the program is Everything Co-op. And I'm in Greenbelt having a great conversation with a lot of people here in the New Deal Cafe. You can go to the www.newdealcafe.com. You can get the calendar of events. You can get their menu and information about what's going on in the community. And National Co-op Bank sponsors this program. NCB's mission is to support and be an advocate for America's cooperatives and their members, especially in low-income communities, by providing innovative financial and related services. I have a sense that Greenbelt is not a low-income community, although the 1,600 Greenbelt homes, GHI, have been affordable housing all of this time. And I got it. It's a wealthy community. I have it because of such social wealth that people really support and help each other. I'm getting a lot of nods around the table. Yeah. Steve?
Yes, I'd like to say that Greenbelt homes are some of the most affordable homes in the Washington, D.C. area. You can become a member of Greenbelt Homes and live here in a one-bedroom unit for as little as $60,000. Yep, that's right. And a two-bedroom, two-story unit for $110,000 to $130,000. And nowhere else in the Washington, D.C. area can you come close to that kind of affordability. So we're very proud of that, and the board of directors works very hard to keep our budgets in check so that that affordability remains into the future.
When I came out here probably 6 years ago, right after Leela was on the program, and I think Sylvia was with her, and I came back and I looked at your museum.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to talk about your museum? Which one of you?
Oh, the museum, it was something that we, when I was working at GHI as the information specialist, it was the 50th anniversary coming up of Greenbelt, and we thought, what would be the best thing for Greenbelt to have to celebrate its 50th anniversary? And we said, a museum in one of the original homes. So we started looking, where would we like it? Well, we'd like it close to the center so people could walk and see the other things around Greenbelt. And one lady said, well, I'm willing to sell my house. And then that was what the citizens did. They voted to become a member of GHI. So the city itself, the government, the city is a member of GHI. And that's really interesting.
Oh, so they bought that home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an interesting relationship. But if you go there, it's in on one of the more unique types. You know, we have the frames, the bricks, and the blocks being the flat roof. And that's where the museum is, in one of the block units, and one of the more interesting original floor plans, I think.
Well, I was struck by the smallness of it was in the 30s and the 40s, building not huge appliances or furniture, and so it was using the space extremely well, which is what I like. I was one of them hippies also. I had a VW Campmobile for about 10 or 15 years. In the space, they used every inch of space in it, and that was the same thing I found in one of these homes. And the other thing I liked a lot was the compost outside.
Oh, yeah.
A place to put the compost. I'm going, we're just now getting back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that the homes may be smaller, but you don't need a big home when
No.
you can walk right outside and you have a park.
Yes.
You live in a park.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Playgrounds everywhere.
Yeah.
Sylvia, how many playgrounds?
Oh, I have no idea, but there are certainly one every 2 super blocks, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Perhaps, yeah, more than that.
I think I counted them once for a project, and it was over 70. And then we have a relationship with all the homeowners associations in town, including GHI, that if you want the city to help you maintain your playgrounds, we'll do that. We'll share the expenses. Yeah, and it works.
Yeah. It's interesting about the museum because I'm originally from England, and when this idea came up, I was opposed to it. I said, a museum for something that's 50 years old? Come on.
Okay.
But as it turns out, all the other museums are saying how great it is that you are able to get the original furniture because people still have it and are giving when their parents die, you get the furniture. So that's why when you go into the museum, you can see the original furniture for that period.
And I liked it a lot. So Sylvia Lewis, who's with the Greenbelt News Review, what is that?
Okay. When the city was originally formed, right away, the people who were chosen to be not members, but residents, were chosen because they wanted to be involved. That was part of that was criterion of the federal government. And there was a group of journalists or journal students that got together and formed a journalist club and put out a paper. And this was right at the very beginning, 1937.
What was it called? What was it called?
Back then, it was the... you're going to have to tell
me.
The
Cooperator.
The Cooperator.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. It was the Cooperator, and it stayed that name into the 50s. When the McCarthy scare and the red baiting and all that took place, and they kind of divorced from that name and called it the Greenbelt News Review. I think there was all,
One of the reasons the National Co-op Bank is sponsoring this program is to get the word about co-ops because and I've just found out recently that people that were using that name, co-op, stopped using it because they were called communists or socialists and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so far from that state version of communism or socialism.
Yeah.
It is a version where people come together, they own it, they control it, and they get the profits. And that's what I like about it. It's the only way I know that everyday people can make money, where these 1%ers are getting, I think 67% of every new dollar goes to 1% of the folks, of the Americans. And that means that the other, I think it's 33%, if my math is right, goes to the rest of us. 99% of us get 33% of every new dollar.
Yeah.
And so the only way I know to change that is through co-ops. So we put some money in, which we already talked about, and you able to take the money back when there's a profit.
Yeah. Now, of course, the News Review is a worker co-op, and so we don't have that many employees as such, but we do have members, and to become a member you have to work. You have to do something to produce that newspaper. I'm on the ad desk. I work with the advertisers. But we have about 60 members who do that, and if we make money, then they get a dividend. And one of the interesting parts of the history is that the News Review was sued, and the case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the News Review won. It had pro bono lawyers from the Washington Post that fought the case for us, and it was a Freedom of Information case. The paper was sued because it reported what someone had said in a city council meeting, not a council member.
Reported the news.
Then they reported the news, and the developer, who was being criticized by that person, sued the paper and sued the editor of the paper. And the whole community put up money to fight that case.
like
and
that.
it won.
What year was that, Sylvia?
Well, the decision was in the 70s, 1972, I think. But the case was earlier. That it started a lot earlier than that.
So you're being from England.
Originally, yes.
So everything there is at least 1,000 years old, right?
Of course.
So 50.
According me, come on.
Something being 50 years old is not. Now, how old is GHI now?
Okay. So the town was built between 1935 and 1942, but the co-op came into being in 1952. So 1952 would be 67 years. It would be our 67th year, I guess.
Okay.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, I think so. So at 67, I know that the NCBA, National Cooperative Business Alliance, has been around 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Since 1916.
yeah, okay.
I used to work there.
103 years, okay. I know we did we that whole year when they celebrate their 100th year, we did a show that whole year celebrating them. Cabot Creamery, which is a marketing or producer cooperative, is now in their 100th year. So you guys are babies at 67, but from compared to England.
Yeah, and the News Review is, let's face it, we're 82 years old.
Okay.
Not quite as old as me, but we're 82 years old.
Okay. So, David, what kind of special do you have going on the credit union right now? If for people to borrow money or get money on their CDs or...
We have quite a few things going on. We have a home improvement holiday special going on. Borrows up to $6,000, is a rate as low as 6%. We have auto loan special, rates as low as 2.74, no payments for 60 days. We have the Visa credit card. It's a fixed rate, 9.9% fixed rate, so no balance transfer fees. So all the holidays spending that you do, please transfer those balances onto our low fixed rate credit card. There's no balance transfer fee, no annual fees. So quite a few promotions and specials going on right now. But we're excited about this time of year and being able to help everyone have an enjoyable holiday.
Okay, so other credit cards are at 21%. Why would you do what did you say, 9?
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah, fixed rate, 9.9%.
Fixed rate. Why would you do something like that? I mean, that just doesn't seem to make, getting my MBA was always getting more money, grabbing. Why would you go with so low at...
Well, you touched on it a little earlier, Vernon, when we talked about sharing and how co-ops work and how those profits go back to the members. And so the Greenbelt Federal Credit Union is very strong financially, and one of the ways we take care of our members and reward our members is the profit that we earn. It goes back to our members in lower loan rates and then on higher deposit rates. And so we can offer you a fixed rate of 9.9% for our members. We can offer you an auto loan as low as 2.74% because of we're set up as a co-op, and we want those profits and that revenue to go back to our memberships.
Okay. So it's not about profit. It's about people.
About people.
Okay.
People helping people. The credit union movement.
Yeah, the News Review has about 8,500 copies per issue. We're a weekly paper, but we're also online, and so anyone in the audience can see what is going on around Greenbelt through what's in the News Review. And practically every co-op either has an ad or has a story in the paper every week. And the website is www.greenbeltnewsreview.com. You can go not only to the current issue, but you can go to the archives. And we're recently digitalizing all our archives so that from the earliest issue up to the most current, you'll be able to read the stories. And they're fascinating as you read through what happened in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
You go all the way back there.
Yes. Well, right now we're doing that now. We had several grants, and the University of Maryland has been tremendously helpful in putting that all together. So it'll be the living history of Greenbelt, really, because the paper started in 37.
So I'm out here in Greenbelt with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lovely people, and we've had a couple others come in and left. We're at the New Deal Cafe. That's at 113 Center Way in Greenbelt, Maryland. Talking about this community and how vibrant it is and how people help each other and work together, which is the reason for co-ops. But Greenbelt probably has more co-ops per capita than... Yeah?
I think we're probably have, Davis, California likes to think that they have more co-ops than we do, but we like to think we do.
We're going to take our next break, our final break, and we'll be right back, everybody.
1450 WOL.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes. We're in Greenbelt, Maryland, which Lita Mack was just talking before we took break that she and David Thompson, David has been on the program quite a few years, quite a few times. He's out in Davis. They kind of debate back and forth of who has the most co-ops per capita. But I wanted to say something to you all. I had a lady on from Finland. Mm-hmm. Finland won last year. United Nations will decide who are the happiest people in the world. And Finland won it that year. So I had a lady on the program who said that they had the most co-ops per capita in the world. Okay? We're talking about in the U.S. here. And she said that the reason they won the happiest, that they have the happiest people, is because they have more co-ops. And people feel in a community what you all have already been talking about, which causes folks to be happy because of this community. So, with that happiness, let's talk about dancing and music here for a minute. Amethyst, what's coming up in the New Deal?
Well, tonight we have the Green Top Ramblers, and we will be they will be performing Irish music for Celtic Halloween, which is today, and tomorrow night we have Fractal Cat, which is a psychedelic rock band, and we're going to be having a fantastic costume party. So throw something on and come on out. Saturday night we have Big Boy Little Band, which is blues. And Sunday, we have 4 Shillings Short. They're multi-instrumentalists that perform music from all over the world, from India, from Ireland again. They perform Renaissance music. They're a fantastic duo. We're really lucky to have them.
Fantastic. Okay. So, and it's free.
It's free.
Come on up and you can do a tip.
Yes, please tip the band. We have a great beer and wine selection. It's a great atmosphere at the cafe, really friendly crowd. I like to say it's like a funkified Cheers.
Funkified Cheers. Okay. So
and everybody knows your name.
That's very true.
And you can pick up food here in the cafe and take it back and sit anywhere you want?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll deliver it to you. It's all one restaurant. We have a front room and a back room, but it's all the same place.
Okay. And Jill, won't you talk about what's coming up? What do you have coming up at the...
Well, on Friday nights, Friday afternoon from 4 to 7, before you come to the New Deal Cafe, stop by the co-op for our wine tasting. There's $1 off for every for the bottles of wine that we're using as the tasting that night. It's $1 off. But, it's a great chance for people to try a new wine they haven't had before and decide if they want it or not.
So you can come and taste wine, get a little buzz going, and then come in and listen to the music.
Oh, yeah.
Get some more wine and beer over here.
Yeah, wine and entertainment. Yes.
Wine and entertainment.
All within walking distance.
Yes, you don't have to drive.
Okay, David.
Yes, sir.
You have some kind of educational program going on?
Well, April is Financial Literacy Month, and so every year the credit union has a financial literacy that they set up for our members. But what we'll be implementing here soon are financial workshops that we want to do quarterly. So I want listeners to be on the lookout. Visit our website at www.greenbeltfcu.com. or read your local news review, because we advertise in the news review regularly and consistently. So look out for our workshops, and those workshops will cover retirement planning, generating retirement income, home buying from A to Z, understanding your credit, and we'd like to try to get that started right away and incorporate it where it's maybe held at the credit union, if not at or the community center where there may be a little more space. And that's for anyone within the community to come on out, get your financial literacy, get educated, and just another way that we like to try to contribute to our community here.
So when you say the community, are you just talking about Greenbelt or anybody in the DMV or in the United States if they wanted to come on by to get knowledge?
For the financial workshops, anyone can come on down and get that knowledge. Knowledge is power, so we want to share that. Now, we'd love for you to be a part of the community, a part of Greenbelt, part of the Greenbelt Federal Credit Union membership, of course, but, we want to share this and pay it forward, this knowledge that we've gained over the years of our career. And so we understand that, a community like Greenbelt, where that I've recognized and noticed immediately how committed the residents are of giving back and being engaged within the community. We just want to hop on board and be a part of that in any way. And so that's how we're looking to keep paying it forward within Greenbelt.
Two quick questions.
Yes, sir.
Do you have to be a member, or do you have to be a resident of Greenbelt to join the Federal Credit Union? Or?
You can either be a resident, work in Greenbelt, volunteer in Greenbelt.
Some way related to Greenbelt,
exactly.
You can become a member.
Exactly.
Neat.
And once you're a member, your family members are eligible for membership as well.
Okay. The other thing is, when you talk about all those low rate loans, what's your default rate?
Default rate, I believe, is maybe as low as 0.12. I recently looked. So very, very low. And when you compare that to our peer group,
in the banks.
In our banks. In particular, just recently had a meeting, and GHI was highlighted. I think over the entire lifetime of working with GHI Homes, we may have had one foreclosure in all the years of working with the GHI. So, very, very low as far as delinquencies and default.
So, in talking to other credit union CEOs, I've gotten the information that is because it is a co-op and that members support each other, and you do things to help somebody when they get in trouble. Why do you think it's so low that people really pay back what they say they're going to do?
Well, they understand that, the credit union is going to be here for them. Yes, we have the low loan rates, but because we're part of that community, we know the members. And so this is how they all started. When banks wouldn't lend to a community or to a work group, these are how credit unions were formed. So you always had that sense that you could go to the credit union when no one else would lend to you. And so when you can rely on someone like that or a credit union like that, you make a priority to pay back. To do what you say you're going to do. Absolutely.
And I got that banks are interested in three things I've learned. They're interested in getting their money back. First thing. The second thing they're interested in is getting their money back. The third thing they're interested in getting their money back. Okay. And all in that, they're interested. Capitalists are in three things: profit, profit, profit. Okay. But credit unions, I've come to learn, is interested in people first. One of your not competitor, one of your friendly competitors say, our members are our mission. I don't think that's Navy Federal. I hear that all the time on the radio.
Yeah.
And then the people first, the planet second, social responsibility is one of the critical pieces. I like the ethical values of co-ops. Honesty, openness, social responsibility, and caring for one another. And that's sort of said, people, planet, and then profit. You have to make profit, but that's not the main thing. Right. So you go for longer-term decision-making and not just profit. And that's what the members do also. Longer-term decisions. Let's pay this back so that the credit union will be here for me when I need it the next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we only have a couple minutes left. I want to start with Lita. Lita, Do you like living in Greenbelt, and do you like being around co-ops?
Oh, I love it. I love it. At one point, my daughter and her new husband were looking to buy a house, and they found a really inexpensive house out in Virginia, and it was really funny. The realtor said to them, "Well, this is a co-op. Do you know what that is?" And they just laughed because she grew up in a co-op.
Okay. And that's why it was inexpensive, I'm sure. Amethyst, what about you?
I love living in a cooperative. I love living in Greenbelt. Everything is walkable. This whole community was designed in the 30s by the Roosevelt to be walkable and highly livable. I feel like our quality of life on a day-to-day basis is so much higher than living in a suburb somewhere.
Okay. Jill?
One thing that's special is that for every $1,000 a shopper spends at their local food co-op, 1,604 stays in the community, and that's 15% more than a conventional grocery store, and that's the statistics from NCBA.
Okay.
I just wanted to stress that. So yeah, we love living here.
Dave?
Yep, glad to be back, as I mentioned before, and yes, I'm excited about being part of Greenbelt. It's the most engaged and committed community that I've ever been a part of, and I've lived in Prince George County my entire life.
Okay.
Okay, I've lived here for 50 years. My husband and I moved here when our children were little, and we moved to give our children independence because they could walk everywhere. They could walk to school. They could walk to the community center. They could walk everywhere. I am now in my 80s, and I can walk everywhere, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't move anywhere else.
All right. And Steve, what about you?
Well, my wife and I moved here when we had a 1-year-old, and we really had no idea what we were letting ourselves in for, but it has turned out to be the best place to raise a family that you possibly could imagine, and particularly in the Washington area where there is so much energy and hubbub. So it turned out to be a great decision.
Great decision. Thank you guys very much. Everybody out there, this is Greenbelt in the cooperative world. We'll see you next Thursday, and please live cooperatively.
Thank you.
WOL